Welcome. It is day 22 of our Seance at the Whitney, where we are learning all kinds of interesting things about the legend of this long-held Detroit family, their house, and the neighboring community, not to mention the wacky family members. It's been a ride. We're going to try and keep it to an hour as we do every night. This is our general order of events. I try. I don't always succeed. We'll see. The Seance at the Whitney is an interactive indie author virtual book festival featuring author readings and interactive improv mystery game, which I hope all of you will play along with because it's more fun the more people play along. And we also give away books every night. You can see the list of our participating authors. We are shining a light on indie authors worldwide. We actually do have authors from multiple countries in the room. So congratulations to us. We're awesome. Tonight, we have two spectacular readings coming to you. The first is going to be Jules Nelson reading from her book, Road Home. And the second is Christian Bullen reading from her book, Depth on the Field. Before we begin, ladies, I want you both to hold up your books so people can see the covers, because these are important. Take a look at those covers. Later on in the program, I will show you a way that you can get direct access to all the books just 2 clicks away. So you can buy them, follow those authors, pick up all the books in their catalogs. So tonight, Jules, when you are ready, please take the microphone and read aloud.
Okay. Emma was excited to have the house fixed up before Thane returned in a few weeks. For the first time in weeks, Emma found a song on her lips. She sang her favorite hymns as she walked along until she saw the curve that led into Vermontville. Her simple joy fled as anxiety filled her. Her feet came to a stop. She had not been to town by herself since she had been abducted. Between Thane and her father still being worried about her head injury, she always had an escort these days. Taking a deep breath, she sent up a silent prayer for strength and protection. Then she forced her feet forward along the road. The town seemed busy enough, people walking to and from the shops, talking above the sounds and the animals that were tied along the street. Emma smiled. There's just enough people to keep her from being noticed as she walked past. Emma's house sat on the side street on the far side of town, so keeping her head down, she walked past the mercantile. Emma? Emma's heart froze. Turning towards the voice, she attempted to keep a smile on her face. Standing on the top step of the mercantile was Mrs. Craig. She looked down at Emma with a delighted smile. You appear to be in a hurry. Is everything all right? Hello, Mrs. Craig, Emma called back, relieved to see a friendly face. All is well with me. I was simply on my way to visit a friend. Oh, do please call me Sadie, she insisted, coming down the stairs to stand next to the younger lady. A smile crept back into her face as realization dawned on her. I take it you were trying not to be noticed by the mercantile or its owner. When Emma blushed, Sadie laughed. Well, let me walk with you a ways so we can move on from here. Thank you, Emma whispered in gratitude. Sadie took her arm and steered her back in the direction she was headed. They walked in silence until they were past the last shop. Sadie was the first to break the silence. You're a bit young to have an ache in your joint, aren't you? Pardon? Emma asked, surprised. Sadie pointed down into Emma's basket. Your pokeberries. They aren't for you, are they? Emma glanced down at her basket. She had forgotten all about the berry and her anxiety about the town. Be sure to boil them twice, otherwise you'll end up with stomach pains from not preparing them long enough, the older lady explained. Shaking her head, Emma looked up then. No, these are not for medicine. I picked them just to dye some faded curtains in my husband's cabin. Ah, Sadie sighed in relief. Good. Pokeberries are powerful medicine if you're not careful. Glancing over at the young lady at her side, she smiled again. Your husband's cabin? Wouldn't that make it yours as well? Emma felt her cheeks burn. Yes, ma'am, it would, she replied. Looking over at her companion, she wondered if she could be honest. It's just that it feels strange. New, I suppose, but it doesn't really feel like my home yet. Not strange at all. They walked along in silence for a moment. I admit to feeling the same way when I was a young bride. I imagine with you getting married sudden like, it'll take some time to get used to. Emma's feet slowed as they reached the walk that goes up to Abigail's house. Turning towards the widow, she studied her face. She had never really talked to her for more than a few sentences before the barn raising, but she found herself wishing for more time with her. So you're going to go visit young Abigail today? Sadie reasoned, looking at the beautiful house that stood in front of them. David and Abigail had one of the few houses in Vermontville that wasn't log built. It really stood out. David had built it himself while he was still courting Abigail. He'd worked long hours around his carpenter business, and there was a rumor that he would build well into the night. When he put the last nail in the house, David decided it was time to ask Abigail to marry him. Well, I will not keep you from your visit, Sadie said, squeezing Emma's fingers. If you find yourself with extra time while your husband's gone, you come and see me. We'll have a nice long visit and a good cup of tea. I'd love that, Emma agreed. Turning reluctantly to Abigail's door, she looked back over her shoulder to Sadie. Have a blessed day, Mrs. Craig. I mean, Sadie. Sending up a prayer, thanking God for answering her earlier prayer, Emma knocked on the door. When Abigail opened the door, she pushed her hair away from her face. Sweat was beading up on her forehead and running down her cheeks. Breathing hard, she straightened her shoulders and smoothed her tight gown. Emma, darling, she exclaimed when she saw who it was at the door. You're here. Reaching out to grab her friend's hand, she pulled Emma inside and shut the door. Emma studied the chaos around her. Rugs were hanging all over the chairs. A pile of dust lay in the corner with a broom. Plates were piled on the table. The washtub was overflowing with dishes as well. Abigail, what are you doing? Waving her hand in dismissal, Abigail laughed. Just a little light cleaning. I can't sit still today. You can see how dirty this place is. I need to get it all cleaned up before my boy is born. After that, I suspect I'll just want to sit and hold him all day long. Laughing again, she turned towards the stove. Let me put some water on for a tea. A short rest will do me some good, and my feet. Emma shook her head. You sit yourself down there. Let me make the tea, and then I'll finish cleaning up. You're trying to do too much, Abby. A scowl crossed Abigail's face for a moment before she started laughing. When did you get so bossy? And I should scold you for using that awful pet name. She moved to a chair without any further prompting. And you should see how wrinkled the baby's clothes are, she exclaimed, horrified. I need to iron them again, too. But I can't iron on a messy table, so I was scrubbing that, and then I saw a leaf behind the plates. Can you imagine a leaf in my cupboard? Abigail gave a shudder. Emma tried not to laugh. So I pulled all the plates out and realized that David did not wash the dishes very well. They all needed to be rewashed. And that pesky leaf fell on the floor, though, and I can't find it. So I started sweeping, and I realized those rugs have to go. Blowing out a frustrated breath, Abigail slumped back in her chair. Emma laughed then, amused at the urgency. She tried to stop when Abigail's face scrunched up into a pout. I'll help you put all of this to right, but first, let's drink some tea. When their tea was finished, Emma wiped out the cupboards and she washed the dishes and she put them back in their places. Once the table was washed, Emma set the iron to heat up for her friend. And while Abby ironed, Emma looked for the leaf. When she finally found it, she put it outside. Sweeping the floors was the last thing on her friend's list. She was very careful to get the corners and the cracks to keep Abby from being tempted to redo it after she left. You know, your baby could turn out to be a girl, Emma suggested with a laugh. Abigail scoffed at the idea. A mother knows these things. This is a boy I'm carrying. By the time Emma was ready to leave Abigail's house, she was tired herself and hot. She rinsed her face and neck in Abby's wash water and then she turned to Abigail. Before Abby would let her leave, she made Emma promise to come back again. Promising, she gave her friend a hug, and then she tied on her bonnet. And we'll stop there.
Yep. Thank you very much. I love the idea of historical fiction rabbit holes. That just took me right back. Thank you so much for your reading, Julie. Okay, next we have Christian Bullen. Hold up your book one more time for me, Christian. There it is, Depth in the Field. Depth on the field. I always get that preposition wrong. I don't know why. Depth on the field. Christian, when you are ready, please take the microphone and read aloud.
The morning after is Awkward. I wake to find Jason sleeping next to me. The Be Kind Rewind version of events plays in my head, and I feel sore. My legs, my quads are stiff and yet jello-y. Jason stirs and rolls over to drape his arm around my stomach. He pulls me in close and snuggles into me. He has an adorable smile plastered on his face that reminds me of those portraits that hang in photography studios to help sell packaged deals. I smile back as I run my hands through the short ends of his dark hair. It's matted soft and not spiked like it usually is. In the dimly lit room, his hair looks darker than normal, almost like a chestnut color that matches his eyes. I'm grateful those eyes aren't looking at me right now. I get sucked into them so easily and melt into a puddle of goo. It's kind of pathetic how easily I fold when all he does is just look at me. When he does, it's like he's peering straight down into my soul, and I have all the strength of a piece of pumpkin pie. It's terrifying and yet kind of exhilarating at the same time. Slowly, I slink my way out of his arms and look around to find my dress. They're next to the bed, and I manage to put it on in a matter of seconds. Jason hasn't moved. I feel like I should wake him, but I need to get home. Once I find Lizzie, we'll figure out a story. The truth would get me in so much trouble. I quietly walk over to Jay's side of the bed and place a light kiss on his cheek. I don't know what this means for us or where it'll go, but I'm starting to not be so scared of it. Jason was right about a lot of things he said last night, but one thing in particular. There is something between us that is undeniable. I give him one last look before I sneak out of his bedroom and make my way downstairs. The house looks like a tornado, a hurricane, and a sandstorm hit it simultaneously. I do not envy those boys the cleanup job ahead of them. I'm just about to walk out when I hear someone grumble from the couch. I look over and see Lizzie. Oh, thank God she's here. That was amazing, she says with a loopy smile. She's looking at someone on the couch with her. I tilt my head just enough to see who it is. Can I call you? The male voice says. Austin? Oh my God. She gives him a devious smile and kisses him again before agreeing to his request. What happened last night? Between Jason and me, and now Lizzie and Austin, was there a full moon that I missed? Had the sky turned orange and the earth rotate backward? I feel like I was in the middle of a surprise twist on my favorite TV show. Carefully, I try to sneak away, but Lizzie turns and yelps at seeing me. Emma! Sorry, I call out, embarrassed that I've just caught her in a very intimate moment. Pretend I didn't see anything. I shield my eyes away as I literally can't see anything, try to pass by and head to the front door. She hurries up off of the couch and over to me. She's fully clothed at least, and from the peek I got, so is Austin. I can take a mental breath on that one. What are you still doing here? She asked guiltily. I think she's hoping that I'll forget what I just saw. I can't come up with a plausible excuse to save my life. There is no lie that I can cook up to help me. Jason chooses that moment to come down the stairs and make his grand entrance like Prince Charming with a t-shirt and boxers instead of a sword and shield. Hey, Lizzie, he nods at her and heads to the kitchen. Austin jumps up at seeing his brother and rushes off with him. I give Lizzie a cringed look and she squints her eyes back at me. Her eyebrow raises to a 90-degree angle as she lets out a deep breath. She knows. I pout my lips and fold my hands together to plead to her to forgive me. She rolls her eyes and grabs my arm to bring me in for a hug. We can never stay mad at each other for longer than 2 seconds. I need to call my parents, I say as we walk into the kitchen, our arms over each other's shoulders. She waves off my concern. I already called them. When I couldn't find you last night, I let them know you were staying at my house. I knew you'd turn up somewhere. Oh, thank God. Girl, I love you, I tell her with relief that I won't be deader than dead when I get home. Should I be jealous? Jason's voice echoes as he wraps his strong arms around my waist, pulling me away from Lizzie. It feels nice to have him behind me. My hands wrap around his like they were always meant to be there. You should always be jealous of Lizzie. She's been my best friend for 10 years. I don't have the time or the energy to break in a new one. So good luck with that. He playfully sticks out his hand towards her, breaking our contact as he issues a challenge. I thrive under competition and pressure, he winks at her. Lizzie doesn't hesitate for a moment and shakes his hand in agreement. I'm only agreeing to this to rub it in your face later. I snort as I laughed at her insistence. Jason chuckles while his hand finds its way back around my waist. He rests his chin on my shoulder and I breathe him in. Not just the way he smells, but his aura, the energy he gives off. It's intoxicating. His throat hums against my skin and I can feel the vibrations down to my fingers. Austin calls him and he gives me a kiss before he lets me go, a parting gift as he goes off to find what his brother wants. So you and Jason, Lizzie begins as she pours us a tall glass of orange juice. I sip my beverage innocently as snapshots replay in my head from the previous night. You harpy, she teases as she slaps my knee and drinks her juice. You and Austin, I deflect. Her eyes drift south and her posture slouches. Let's just say I like that dude, she smiles devilishly. I know I won't get details from her now, but whatever happened, I would need the play-by-play later. And that's all I'm going to do.
Oh, there. It would help if I turn my mic on. Thank you. Thank you. Two really great stories shared with us tonight. Thank you, Christian Bullen. Thank you, Jules Nelson. I highly recommend both of these books. You guys got to go out and get them. They're super fun to read. Treat yourself. Go buy yourself a present for putting up with this craziness for a whole month. Go buy yourself 28 new books. You guys, you deserve it. So go buy everybody's book and then sit down and read them and you'll feel better about spending the month. Okay, here we go. Moving into the recap. You guys probably know this story by heart, but I'm going to do it anyway because I know that we have people just stepping in who have not been here for the whole month. At the Ghost Bar inside the Whitney Manor and historic Detroit estate, a world-famous psychic medium has come for an exclusive invitation-only seance. With so many curious about spiritualism around the world, this event promises to connect the living and the spirit worlds, opening doors to mysteries that transcend time and space. But when the seance spirals into a chilling rendezvous with a vengeful spirit and a shocking murder, it falls upon those in attendance to unravel the truths hidden in the darkest depths of the past. A spirit is summoned, vowing revenge on their killer. One of the guests becomes hysterical, claiming that the spirit is there for them. Suddenly, the lights start flickering and the wind pushes the windows open, extinguishing the candles around the room. The room and everyone in it are thrust into darkness. When the light returns, that same hysterical guest is lying on the floor, dead. Who killed them? Why? Was it the furious spirit or something far more earthly? The cast of characters sitting around our seance table tonight. The medium is the great Christopher Gare. The great Christopher Gare is still, I suspect, locked in the bathroom. He will not be joining our conversation this evening. However, his assistant, Donna Newman, is here. The author, Amy Kelso. The socialite, Dawn Menge, is not in the room this evening. Don't know where she went. Not real clear on her intentions. We'll have to figure it out. The spouse of our dearly departed Richard is Jules Nelson. The super fan of the great Christopher is Marianne Wieland. The aloof guest is Gary Floyd. The maitre d' of the Whitney is Melinda Falgo, and I am your storyteller. Last night, and every night for that matter this month, we've been learning new details about this mystery. We've been uncovering clues and uncovering family lore. We only have, is it 7? Am I doing the math right? 7 more days. Thank you, Mark. 7 more days until we get to the big reveal. So tonight, I'm going to give you guys all the opportunity to ask the questions you feel need to be answered. I do not have any new information to share with you this evening. So turn on your microphones. When you want to ask a question, raise the little hand raise doohickey thingy, or just put your hand in the air. I'll find you eventually. So we're going to start with Mark McCraw. Go ahead.
I know that when you did some research, Diana, you found that there was some criminal history in the past. Do you know if there was anybody in the present that has a criminal history?
I have not found criminal records on the people that are currently sitting around our table.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Mark Love, go ahead.
It works so much better when you turn the microphone on.
Isn't that snazzy how that happens?
Yes, indeed. My question is for the widow, Jules Nelson, because I know I missed a couple of nights, but I don't recall if the body of Nora was ever found. And Jules, I got a couple part question for you. So can you answer that?
I don't think that Nora's body has ever been found because I didn't see it. And then I think Melinda said she climbed down and looked and she couldn't find it either. I never actually climbed down and looked. I just walked away.
Melinda, did you actually climb into the well or did you just try to shine your flashlight in?
No, with the depth of the well being 75 feet, as you said, it was much too much for me to climb down. And the well was old and decrepit as it was. No sense in there having two bodies there. But I did shine my mag light down in there, and it did not reveal any body down there. And as far as I know, there have never been any news articles or reports from the police or any word from the family that Nora's body ever was found.
Yep. Everything I read showed that it was a disappearance and not a search and recovery mission. Mark, did you have a follow-up?
Yes, I did. I'm just curious, since the body was never found, Jules, you tried to lighten her up by firing at her. Had you any previous experience with a handgun?
No.
So
I
you're as good with a handgun as you are at picking spouses?
Well, depending on your attitude about that, that could mean that if Jules has the same experience with handguns and spouses, it means that she's not the sordid harpy that Marianne would claim her to be, because she's only done each of them once, right?
She's a trollop, not a harpy.
Okay, sorry, I got the vocabulary wrong.
Melinda's the harpy. Keep it straight.
Yes, she is
I'm the dirty
harpy.
bird.
Right, that's
Melinda's
right.
the harpy. Jules is just a trollop.
And Donna is the hired help.
Donna's
And I'm the hired help.
Yeah. Amy, can you please read Mackenzie's question for me?
In the chat, Mackenzie said, you didn't Mission Impossible like scale the wall, Melinda?
No. No
Yeah.
helicopter drop into the 75-foot well. You're so dull.
Tom Cruise wasn't available.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Now,
Anyone? Go ahead.
does Mackenzie have a comment? She has her hand up as well. So
Yeah, I see that.
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay. Anyone else have questions while we're trying to figure out if Mackenzie still is out there? Anyone else have questions? Miranda, go ahead.
Okay, does anyone know, was there a ladder in the well? Like a ladder along the side of the wall going down to the bottom?
Melinda, did you see a ladder?
I did not.
Okay.
Doesn't
Julie,
mean
did
there
you?
wasn't one there. I just
Ju-
didn't see one.
Julie, did you see a ladder?
I did not. I guess I just assumed there was one because Amy had talked about climbing down in it earlier, and I thought maybe they had done it, and I guess I didn't even look around. So
I never said that I climbed down in the well. I was looking around the well when I found the crystal ball. So just to clarify, again, you keep trying to frame me, but
Authors are so good at taking notes. I mean, really, it's tough to dispute their memory because they're constantly writing stuff down.
Just a follow-up question to that. Was there water in the well?
Amy or Jules or Melinda, did any of you see water in the well?
I believe we discussed a couple nights ago that the well had been out of service for quite some time. I think the water table in the area did not lend itself to that being an active well.
Well, not anymore, not since the city has grown up and they've connected to the sewer system. So yeah, the well's pretty much dried and has been for some time because I think the sewers came in about 1945, right around Second World War. So
Yeah, I don't remember ever there actually being water in the well.
yeah, and you grew up on the property, so you don't ever remember, like, you didn't throw pennies in there and listen to it go kerplunk.
We may have thrown pennies in, but we never heard a splash.
Got it. Okay.
Now, Mackenzie
Yes.
said that she can use the mic.
Ooh, that's
Oh.
very exciting. Mackenzie, you
Exciting.
should use the mic. If you have anything to say, Mackenzie, turn your mic on. Okay. Mark McCraw, go ahead.
If you've already answered this, I apologize, but Jules, when you went to get the gun out of the desk, was it loaded? Did you check to see if it was loaded, or did you load ammunition in there? Because I know you had a mental confusion thing going on.
I didn't actually check and make sure there was ammunition in there because Melinda always told me that she keeps it loaded and ready in case she's got issues because it is Detroit, you know. So I just opened the drawer and grabbed it, and I didn't actually check. I probably wouldn't even know how to open it to make sure there's bullets in there.
Yeah, remember, she's only married once and fired a gun once.
That's true. But you never know.
Into a well that's making sawed noises.
Yeah, she's probably never been through the process of loading, unloading, and cleaning a weapon. That would be my guess.
No, she had a breakdown, so who knows?
Mackenzie, your hand is up. Do you have a question? No? Okay. Mark Love, go ahead.
My question is for Melinda as the maitre d' of the Whitney. Exactly what kind of situations would you need to keep a loaded gun in such a prestigious?
Well, I mean, while the Whitney and you know is a nice establishment, I mean, it is Detroit. Things filter in from neighborhoods on either side, and there have been occasions where our till has held money, and it's just a magnet for some unsavory types to come in there and potentially rifle our till and cause harm to any of our wonderful guests and of course the Whitney family. So of course we kept a loaded weapon on the site for protection, for safety.
Well, and when you consider that the Whitney family was not so extravagant as to hire security personnel.
Oh, don't get me started.
I have two follow-up questions, if I may. Number
Go
one,
ahead.
when you say unsavory types, what are you referring to? Canadians?
Hey?
I have nothing to say about that. Caroline Topperman, forgive me.
All right. And the second question was, were you trained in the proper use of this firearm?
I'll have you know I served in our nation's military, a proud sailor from the USN United States Navy. Thank you very much.
In what role?
Electronics technician.
You so much right now, Melinda. Okay.
So many. I'm gonna let that one go.
Mark McCraw, go ahead.
Okay, so Melinda, you act like you're very OCD about everything, but yet Jules was able to get the gun out of your drawer. So that sounds like to me that you possibly had a little brain fart.
No, I believe it's that one of those unsavory characters has managed to wiggle their way into the Whitney and pilfered my set of master keys, which I cannot find, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
There you go.
Uh-oh. And the
Something's
plot
awry there.
thickens.
Something is awry there.
Uh-oh. Marianne, go ahead.
Well, I think I have a different line of questioning. I seem to be just a little bit sharper than most of the people in here and a little bit more observant. And so I have a question for Miss Donna, the hired help, regarding the great ones. I believe he carries his extra balls in a tote bag, which is easily accessible. Too much Boone's Farm. Accessible because it sits by his chair. Well, when you got up to flick the lights back and forth, I had previously noticed you have quite strong arms. And the lights were out. And my question is, have you ever played baseball or softball or perhaps been a bowler in the game of cricket?
Donna.
As you guys remembered, my childhood was not always the happiest of childhood, and I was not allowed to play sports. So I guess the question to that is no.
Okay. All right. Interesting question though. Amy Kelso, go ahead.
Okay, I am actually asking for Mackenzie because there were some issues with getting her on the mic. Just really wants to know the identity of the maid. We all want to know who's this Brazilian maid that Melinda's hanging out with.
Melinda, do you have an answer for that question?
I don't see her in the room.
Okay. Do you recall her name?
Names are such tawdry devices. Why lock ourselves into one name? I mean, she might be Charo one night. She might be, Tita Rivera another night. Who knows?
Okay. I have a question, Melinda, for you. What is the turnover like amongst the staff at the Whitney?
Depends on how much booze farm I've had. Oh, I'm sorry. You weren't talking about the maid anymore. Okay. Well, actually, we have had a little bit of difficulty keeping a regular staff here at the Whitney. Times have been lean at certain periods over the last few years. And so people don't want to work for a pittance. So they come, they go, and well, you get what you pay for.
And I get a hallelujah.
But what do they pay you?
Yeah.
Well, I actually benefit from being able to stay on the grounds. Therefore, my rent and utilities and food are all taken care of.
Interesting. I think that's a detail that perhaps we may have looked over. Amy lives on the property and you live on the property. Jules, did you and Richard live on the property as well, or did you live off-site?
We live on the property as well. My room is next to Richard's on I think was the second floor. I mean, I know where I live, but sometimes I just forget which number of stairs I'm on.
Okay. Mark Love, go ahead.
You have a separate room from your late husband? This is marriage that sounds odd.
Doesn't every married couple have separate room? I mean, how else would you? I mean, if I want to read and he's like talking to his friends, I mean, it's got to be quiet in there.
And you know what? That doesn't really surprise me, given that you rarely spoke. You've only been together 5 years, and we must also recognize that the royal family married spouses sleep in separate rooms. So,
and we're practically royalty here, so.
Right.
You wish you were part of our royal family.
Oh, he couldn't stand her. Trollop.
He only liked me for my money, apparently, after what this maid said. But I'd like to speak to this maid because maybe she's just making it up, and maybe he liked me and my money. We don't know.
Oh, he liked your money, sister. He liked your money.
Unfortunately, I'm feeling like this is true.
He wanted to be with Nora, but he was wrong. He was a moron. So you got him.
All right. Mark McCraw, go ahead.
Last question, Melinda. Is the reason why that everybody's leaving is because you're too hard on the employees?
I have nothing to say about that.
Do they have anything to say?
Given your military background, my guess would be you're not the easiest person to work for. I mean, I'm just getting that sense.
You make somebody do 10 push-ups and it's the end of the world. Gee,
Did you make them walk the plank?
only on role play night.
Is there a schedule for that one might get a reservation on those nights?
I'll see if I can pencil you in.
Thank you very much.
Feed myself some oxygen, so we're gonna stop the Q&A there tonight. Thank you everybody for attending and helping us to get closer to solving this mystery. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me hold on, I gotta inhale, exhale. So who did it? We have to figure out who did it. We only have 7 days left, you guys. We're coming down to the wire. Somebody better start dumping some serious information, because really, at this point, trollops and harpies and who knows what aside, we still haven't figured out who would have wanted poor Richard dead. So collect your clues, watch the replays, because you never know. Sling those accusations on the 29th, and we're going to have a lot of fun, I think, for the next 7 days. Wax dripping time, everybody. Here we go. Christopher Gare, Amy Kelso, Deborah Reed, Andrew Allen Smith, and Jules Nelson round out the top 5. Woo! Congratulations! And these are the standings for everybody else. Remember, we still have 7 days left. You guys can boost those numbers and maybe walk away with a snazzy medal and bragging rights. You never know. Okay, talismans from the spirits. It is that time of the night where we give away books. We're giving away 2 of them, as we try to do every night. If your name comes up on the handy dandy spinning wheel of happiness, please send your mailing address to me at diana@pagespromotions.com. We endeavor to ship out all books by March 5th. And if somebody forgets to claim their book, it will go into the prize collection on the 29th, along with some other prizes that are big fat surprises, because you know, I like surprises. Okay. One more time before we flip over to the wheel, I would like Christian to hold up her book, Depth on the Field. And I would like Jules to hold up her book, Road Home. These are the books we're giving away tonight. The first spinny wheel is going to be for Jules' book, and the second spinny wheel is going to be for Christian's book. So, Amy, will you please let me know when you can see the wheel?
Yep, can see it.
Awesome. I want to make sure the sound is working, because it's always so much more fun when we have the sound. Okay, so first spinny wheel for Jules's book. Here we go.
No sound.
Jennifer! Congratulations, you won a book. Okay, here we go. We are gonna go, hold on, I gotta check something, you guys, real quick. I'm having a technical glitch. Hold on, just one moment.
There was no sound when you did the wheel.
Well, of course
Mm-mm.
not. So
Just
sad.
don't shoot the messenger. I just
I'm
asked.
telling you, ghosts in the machine, you guys.
Believe ya.
I love doing the murder mysteries every year, but I got to contend with all these really cantankerous goats, and they get into my technology and they mess stuff up. And seriously.
Out of the ghost bar.
All right, let's see if we can try it again. Can you all see it?
Yes.
Okay, let's hope we can hear it. This is for Christian's book, Depth on the Field. Here we go. Huzzah and congratulations to both of our amazing winners. You guys are going to love these books. One more thing that unfortunately I have been extremely neglectful in reminding you all. When you win a book and it comes in the mail and you read it, please go to that author's website and leave them a review. Or go to Amazon and leave them a review. It doesn't have to be a long and involved book report from 6th grade. All it has to be is a star rating. And yes, you liked it. No, you didn't like it. Whatever. It doesn't have to be long and involved. But those reviews really mean a lot to the careers of our indie authors. So please, please, please support your local indie author with reviews. We would greatly appreciate that. Okie dokie. Speaking of supporting the authors, on the Pages Promotions website, you will find a page that says Indie Author Yearbook. This is where you're going to find a page with all of the books you've been experiencing all month long, with direct buy links so that you can go and buy their books and leave them reviews. So if for some reason you decide to buy a book and after you're done reading it, you can't remember where to go to leave a review, just go back into this page, click on the link for that book, and it'll take you directly to their Amazon page so you can leave them a review. I tried to make it super simple for you guys, so there's no stress about it. And I want to remind you all as well, February 29th is our big reveal day. We will be giving away an award to the sleuth who comes closest to the specific solution to the mystery. I know lots of us have lots of different ideas that might overlap, intermingle, and this is where it gets tricky. It's the person who comes closest to the actual solution. So on the 28th of February, please go to the website. I will be posting the link on the 28th on our Facebook page. On the 28th, be prepared to sling your accusation. There will be a special form set up on the website just for that purpose. So start formulating those ideas now. And get ready, because we're also doing a super extravagant hat contest that night, in addition to some other fun stuff. So make sure you register for the 29th and get ready to sling your accusations on the 28th. Okay. We have just had a great deal of fun. I think I've laughed more tonight than I have all month, which is really a spectacular achievement, folks. That's pretty wonderful. So thank you very much for that. And we're cutting it really, really close to the end of our time together. So tonight, we're just going to do shots across the bow from our cast members. Starting with Marianne Whelan, shots across the bow.
I have nothing to say. I'm out of anything.
So overwhelmed she is with the night's extravaganza.
I think she's just missing the great one.
This
Yes,
is Mary.
that's
This
it.
is
The great
Marianne.
one. Oh, the great one.
Marianne's speechless 2 nights in a row. You guys, this is a bar we don't normally reach, so I'm pretty pleased. Jules Nelson, shots across the bow.
Oh, I've been thinking all along that this has to be done by a guy because not all us women are that strong. But now that Melinda said that she was in the armed forces, I'm thinking she could have been strong enough. But now it's got me thinking all kinds of different things. So that's where I'm at right now.
That is a curious idea. Melinda, can you dead weight lift a body?
Depends on the body. Depends on the body.
Fair enough. Do you have shots across the bow, Melinda?
I do. I just wanted to reach out to all of you who are in attendance here tonight to let you know that in my role as Maitre d' and in my efforts to keep the Whitney going, and since this whole the seance thing has turned into an absolute financial fiasco, the Whitney will be holding a special 2-for-1 Brazilian wax next week.
Do we get to do it with the Brazilian maid as the other one?
That's going to cost extra.
Okay, just checking.
Oh, wow. That is so much fun. Christopher just does not know what he missed tonight. Donna Newman, shots across the bow.
I really don't have anything to say about that. I'm so lost.
Okay. All right. Carrie Floyd, shots across the bow.
All I know is that Jules shoots into a well because she hears a sound to shut it up, and nobody goes. And Melinda and Amy don't go down to look to see it.
I wasn't there.
And the well is 75 feet down. I don't think I'd be jumping into any well either, so I can't throw any blame on that. Last, certainly not least, Amy Kelso, shots across the bow.
I don't know, I don't know who the murderer is, although I still suspect Jules. But that's could be my own biases. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, maybe we'll find out some more information before the reveal days.
Well, we better, because it's coming up pretty close. So, wow. I'm flabbergasted that we were able to quiet 3 of our cast members tonight. I'm really impressed, you guys. Well done. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us again. Remember, this whole thing will come to a close one way or another on the 29th. Join us again tomorrow for more really wonderful authors reading from their work. Thanks, you guys. Have a great night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.